Hello, I'm Cassie Knoll. This week on Suncoast FYI, Curious Critters, Children's Books, The Artist's Cafe, and we help you get prepared for hurricane season with the 2015 Suncoast Hurricane Expo. All next on Suncoast FYI. Thanks for joining us today on Suncoast FYI. David Fitzsimmons is an award-winning freelance photographer and writer, and he joins me now to tell us about his latest book. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Cassie.
So tell me about your latest book here.
Well, I started back in 2011 a series of books called Curious Critters, picture books for kids, and they've been very successful. We've gotten a bunch of National Book Awards, and so I decided to focus this time, instead of on land animals, to focus on animals in the ocean. So I have Curious Critters Marine.
And now that you're holding with the octopus on the front, I'm noticing that your tie has the same octopus on it?
That's right. I do a lot of children's events. I visit schools, and so I love to match the ties with the covers of the books. So I actually have one that matches each of my 3 books.
That is awesome. I just noticed it as you put them near each other. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Good thinking on that one. So what got you started on writing books?
Yeah, it's a good question. So actually, if I go back to my childhood, my dad was an outdoor educator, ran an outdoor education program. His name's Mick Fitzsimmons, and my mother, Judy Fitzsimmons, was an elementary school teacher and an English teacher. So I got interested in bringing nature and writing together, and I married my wife, Olivia, who is a naturalist. So a lot of forces came together, and as I was photographing animals for a commercial project, people said to me this type of photography with a white background would lend itself very well to a children's book. So I started the series with the first book with the frog on the cover, and that did very well. We sold over 100,000 copies.
Wow.
So now I travel across the country trying to connect children with nature.
I looked through the books in the commercial break, and they had me hooked, and I'm not a child, but I absolutely loved it. Because your photos are so crisp and so beautiful. How do you get the animals to look so good?
Yeah, so one of the keys is really good equipment. So I use specialized Sigma macro lenses that allow me to get in very close and get lots of details. And then I place the subjects inside what's called a light tent. It's a 3-foot cube, and it provides very soft lighting. So some people wonder, do I take these animals, photograph them anywhere, and cut them out in Photoshop? And the truth is, the sculpting of the shadows and getting it just right is done using the specialized softening technique with the light box.
Wow, and when you actually take it, not in After Effects.
That's right. So it's actually shot with a white background behind it, and that creates the really soft lighting.
So how do you do that with, let's say, an octopus?
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
So I built custom aquaria. In the case of the octopus, I traveled to Alaska and photographed it at the Alaska Sea Life Center, and so we use aquariums for different sized animals, and I build those, and then we put the animals in there and hope for the best.
Oh my goodness, and the pictures, they're just absolutely stunning. There's one of them in there of a lobster that it looks like the lobster is sitting on the page.
Oh, it's the blue lobster. It's from the Mystic, Connecticut Aquarium. I've traveled all across North America, including 4 locations here in Florida, to photograph them, and that lobster is 1 out of every 2 million lobsters is born blue. So it's really amazing. It actually changes color throughout its life. As it's getting ready to molt, it isn't quite as brilliant as it is in the book here. And then as it molts, it then with the new shell, it actually has a darker color.
That is really neat. See, I just learned something new just sitting here chatting with you. So, okay, so you said you photographed some of those critters here, and you did that actually at Mote Marine.
I did. I worked at Mote Marine. They're one of my really strong partners. They are so committed to education. Part of their research component is sharing it with people. And so they're a great partner. I came in and photographed a number of animals at Mote Marine, 2 of which ended up being featured in the book here, the lion seahorse and the cushion sea star.
Very, very cool. So, in your books, you were telling me the way it's written is in first person?
That's right. When I originally wrote these books, I wrote them with just sort of facts on the page. But once I sat down and looked at those, and my brother, who has kids, looked at it, he said, you know, you could make this more interesting. Why don't you make it like the animals talking to you? So just like when you interview a guest here and you get to know their personalities, that's how I pretend. I interviewed the animals while I was taking pictures of them, and then recreated their personalities. So you have animals, some are happy, some are grumpy, some are telling jokes, some are angry, and so it makes for a lot of fun reading.
I was going to say, I noticed on the page where you had the, what was it, the Hawaiian...
the Hawaiian reef hermit crab.
Yes, the hermit crab, that he says aloha. And
he does.
all of the, typical Hawaiian terms.
That's it, exactly. And so I didn't try to focus just on teaching kids natural history, but teachers often use this book and parents so that kids can learn about, say, language arts. They can learn about the concept of voice, how we create different voices in writing. So I tried to cover a lot of different axes that teachers could use when they're using the book.
Which actually goes back to your background as well, because you're not just a photographer and a children's book writer. You actually are a teacher.
I'm a teacher, yeah. I have a master's and PhD in English from Ohio State University, and I actually taught on the university level for 10 years.
Wow.
And I left that position to now travel around and try to help connect children with nature, which I think is really important as we're concerned about environmental issues. We really need to start young, and so this is a way for kids. Of course, I want them to get out and experience nature, you know,
Yeah.
see the gulls flying over the beach or walk in the woods and see squirrels or tortoises. But at the same time, they can supplement that with reading.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, how often are they going to go to Alaska and look at an octopus? Like,
That's right.
You know, and that might stem their passion for that animal, and they'll want to protect it and learn more about it in the future as well.
That's right, and in the case of the marine book, the oceans cover 70% of the world, but we only know about 5% of what's in them. And so this is a chance. Maybe we'll spur some future marine biologists by reading this book.
Yeah, which, speaking of all of that, you actually have a couple events coming up. You have one going on tonight. Tell me a little bit about that.
That's right. I'll be at Barnes & Noble, Sarasota tonight doing a program at 7 p.m. It's a children's event where I'll be using puppets and the kids will interact. There's a calico crab that's found here in the Gulf of Mexico, and it's a detritivore. It eats trash off the bottom of the ocean. So I throw a couple pieces of paper on the ground and the kids pick it up like they're picking up trash and learn what it's like to be a crab.
That's pretty cool. They get like little shells and they get to do the crab walk and all
That's
that good stuff.
right.
Get to do all that stuff.
And we have puppets, so there's a puppet that matches that character and other animals.
That's really cool. And then continuing on with that, you're going to be at Moat Marine tomorrow for their World Oceans Day. We learned about that last week on Suncoast FYI. And so you're actually going to be reading your books at the event?
That's right. I'm going to have a couple children's performances. I'll be there from 10 until 1 doing some book signings, but we'll do 2 puppet programs with the kids at Moat Marine. So that's tomorrow from 10 to 1. And then after I'm done with that, I'm going to go over to the Selby Library. And so here in Sarasota at the library, I'll be doing a children's event at the library itself, again using puppets and talking to the kids and then signing books as well.
And you're going to be very busy over the next couple of hours.
I am, yeah. I'm on a 2-week book tour as well. So it's brought the whole family along with me, and we're having fun. It's beautiful down here.
I'm saying you seem very passionate about what you're doing, so that's what
do.
matters too.
Yeah, I love connecting people with nature.
Very cool. Well, thank you very much for coming on the show today. Where can people go for more information about your books?
So if you'd like to learn more, go to curious-critters.com. That's curious-critters.com. And you can see some of the techniques I use to photograph. There are pictures of that. And if you order books through there, I'd love to have you go to some of the events here or check out some local retailers. But if you order them from there later, I sign those copies, so I'd be happy to sign copies if you miss me at some of the local events here.
And you also have more books coming up in the
I
future?
do. I'm photographing for Curious Critters Florida. It'll be a board book for the very young readers, and I've been traveling around photographing more animals here in Florida, so stay tuned next spring.
All right, very cool. Well, go check out the website, curious-critters.com, and thank you again for coming on the show today.
Thanks, Cassie.
And next on Suncoast FYI, we'll have the details about the all-new Artists Cafe, so stay tuned. Welcome back to Suncoast FYI. I'm Cassie Knoll. The Artists Cafe is a new concept in art galleries, and here to tell us more is the owner, Dr. Matthew Moshafar. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So I'm really excited to talk about your topic here and your wonderful, was it a cafe or is it a museum?
It's both a museum and a cafe at the same time.
Okay, so explain, let's talk about the museum part of it.
I represent 4 European artists. I'm an art collector. The artists I represent are European, Romanian, 2 of them. One is Polish and one is Persian Armenian. The theme is surrealism, and all the paintings are original oil paintings.
Wow. So how did you meet these artists?
I've been working with a group of European artists for almost 2 decades, and this specific artist, his name is Adrian Rassano. He was introduced to me almost 12 years ago through a group of European artists. They told me there's a genius artist who does not speak English and has no education. In Romania, if you do not have education, no gallery accepts your work, no matter how good you are.
Really?
So 12 years ago, I bought a painting from this gentleman, Adrian Rassano, sight unseen because I didn't even see the painting. And since then, I've been hooked. I own almost 200 paintings from this artist, and he's an absolute genius.
Oh my goodness. Well, it sounds like you're really supporting him then
Yes.
and giving him an opportunity he would otherwise not have.
Well, it's a pleasure to be there for him.
That is really cool. And then, of course, your other 3 artists, are they similar stories?
There are similar stories. One is a Polish artist, and most of these artists are super, super poor, and very little opportunity in that part of the world for them, so any handout would be appreciated for them. So I help them as much as I can.
So, okay, so you're a doctor.
Yes.
So how did you go from being a doctor and practicing to an owner of an art cafe?
I have been practicing as a podiatrist in Sarasota for 23 years. I still see patients, so that part is still there. This is my passion. So in the evenings, I am not a doctor, I'm an artist, and I am at the gallery explaining the paintings to different people who come and visit us.
That is really cool.
Yep.
It's great to do what you love.
Yes, absolutely.
That is really, really, really cool. So tell me a little bit more about the gallery itself. How many paintings are in it?
There's approximately 70 paintings, and again, this style, as I mentioned earlier, is surrealism. One of the artists is Christian Lapoussin. He's relatively well known in Europe. He's an art teacher working on his PhD. Now, in his case, because he does have education, they do allow him to hold shows. Another artist is Haraj Karapetian, who died in 2006. Unfortunately, Haraj was schizophrenic, so he didn't get much exposure while he was alive. And I want to expose him because I think he's an absolute genius.
Because you were telling me before that part of the reason you're supporting these artists too is because the doors are kind of closed on emerging artists.
Exactly. Unfortunately, approximately 3-4 years ago, I approached a bunch of auction houses and the museums, and I literally begged them to come and look at these paintings from these artists. And they asked me, well, who are the artists? And I gave them the names, and their first response was, well, these are not first-tier artists. And I said, what is a first-tier artist? And the response was, well, Picasso, Van Gogh. And I told the gentleman, sir, Van Gogh only sold one painting while he was alive, and that was the end of the conversation. Unfortunately, the big boys have decided there's a box, and they decide who is a genius and who's in that box. So the emerging new artists have a very difficult time being exposed to the public, and it's really the public who decides who's the next genius, not the big boys.
Which here in Sarasota, we are a very artsy community, and maybe they'll be exactly what they're looking for.
Exactly. That's what I hope, yes.
So do you actually sell the paintings out of your gallery?
We do sell the paintings, and unlike galleries that they accept work on consignment and mark up the work 100% typically, so the prices are crazy, there is no markup. These paintings are not on consignment. On a regular basis, I send money in advance to the artists before they even paint. So they're almost on a payroll, and they paint and roll the paintings up and send them to me. So
wow.
We do sell the paintings, and again, the price range is somewhere between $2,000 to $5,000 for the paintings.
And you have a lot of confidence in these artists.
Oh, they're brilliant.
I would say you're totally backing them all the way.
Absolutely.
That is really cool.
Yes, yes.
So what sets your gallery apart from the rest of the existing galleries, what you just told me about?
Exactly. Again, what sets us apart is the fact that I am literally married to these artists. I know when their mother needs to buy medicine, where their daughter needs to buy a bicycle, and I support them. That's different than when you walk into a gallery and then there's an employee and they basically accept work on consignment. And the only connection they have with the artist is what's handed to them on the artist's resume.
That's what I was going to say. It sounds like this is much more personal.
Absolutely.
Which, of course, being your passion, I'm sure helps when people come in and you can explain, because these artists aren't here to explain themselves and the reasons behind, so you can be their voice.
I love them. That's basically it.
And obviously love their artwork as well. It's very beautiful. So who should be visiting this cafe and for what occasion?
You know, this place is perfect for a date for a glass of wine. Whether if you've been with a date for a long time or you just met, it's perfect. It's also great for group meetings, events. I've had kids from 6-7-year-olds to people that are 90-year-old, and everybody loves it.
Wow.
Yes.
That is really cool. So where can people go for more information about your gallery and your cafe?
Our website is theartistcafe.srq.com, and I am Matthew Moshifar. You're welcome to contact our gallery and come in, and I'll be glad to answer any questions for you.
Very cool. And obviously you have a continual supply of these art.
We do, and actually what we're trying to do now, we're setting up with local artists as well. We are hoping to set up masquerade parties along with art auctions, so that's something new we're looking forward to. And we're also trying to produce small books for children and TV programs for children, extending from these artworks.
Wow, because you just opened in February.
Yes.
So the sky's the limit for you.
Yes,
You're just
absolutely. Running.
Going up. Well, thank you very much for coming on the show today.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Very nice to hear about your
Thank you so very
cafe.
much for having me.
And coming up on Suncoast FYI, the 2015 Suncoast Hurricane Expo is this weekend. We'll have the details next, so stay tuned. Welcome back to Suncoast FYI. I'm Cassie Knoll. The 2015 Atlantic hurricane season has begun, and now is the time for you to prepare. Joining me now to tell us about a fantastic event happening this weekend are Mike Cabana and Scott Hansen. Welcome to the show, guys. It's good to have you here, and I'm really, as you know, very excited about this event. So tell me a little bit about the 2015 Suncoast Hurricane Expo.
So the event is this Saturday. We're going to kick off at 10 till 3 p.m. I think back initially a couple months ago we talked about putting this event together, and our goal with this event was to have a community event where we could bring some of our local partners in throughout the community, bring everybody together. It's been 10 years since we had a storm. Now is the time for us to bring the awareness back, educate the consumers, and have a little fun while we do it.
Yeah, I would say absolutely. Complacency is a very dangerous thing, and I know a lot of folks either are complacent or just weren't here last time there was a storm. So this event is kind of it's going to be taking place on your parking lot, right?
Absolutely. Yep. 5750 Fruitville Road, the Lowe's in Sarasota.
All right. And so, is it family friendly?
Absolutely. When we set this event up, it's about awareness, awareness for the community, but also we wanted to have some fun while doing it. We want you to bring out your family, your kids. We have a kids clinic. The first 200 kids will be building some items with them. The Boy Scouts will be out there selling hot dogs and for donations. We've got some other things, some goodies, some snow cones and things of that nature. But more importantly, we're going to be out there to educate the public on, preparation for storm, what to do in the event of a storm, and then what do you do afterwards? What do you face after the storm?
As I say, the agencies that are coming are everybody from preparing to during to response after.
Absolutely. We've partnered with Sarasota County Sheriff's Department, emergency response teams. I know the blood bank is coming out, Humane Society, because what do you do with your pet when the storm comes? Do you have a plan for your pet? And the Boy Scouts and several other agencies. So it'll be a great event for the community.
It sounds like kind of a one-stop shop for
You got
people
it.
to learn everything they could possibly want to about hurricane season. And of course, being at Lowe's, the supplies will be there.
Everything will be there for you. We'll have people on site that'll be able to answer questions for you. And we have we're going to have fun doing it. We've got some live music while we'll be out there. I know you guys will be out there with us, which will be great to have.
I'm very excited, as a meteorologist especially. This is just like the best opportunity ever to hopefully educate the community and get everybody prepared now for hurricane season. So why is it important for people to come out to this event and get prepared now before the storm actually impacts the Suncoast?
Good time to prepare because a lot of your products we will need to order. So throughout the month of June, it'd be a good idea to start looking at things getting prepared, such as maybe your roof has some age on it. We now offer 130 mile per hour shingles.
Wow.
You've got storm protected products for your windows. We actually can do hurricane rated glass built into your window frames. So those products we can order for you. I can come out to your home and give you an estimate on what those upgrades would be for your home and get everything prepared. So when that hurricane comes, you're now already ready for that storm.
Yeah, because we typically get, 3 to 5 days maybe advance notice about the storm coming, sometimes even less. So that's not the time to run to Lowe's and be like, oh, by the way, I need a new roof.
And your options are much less within that 72 hours. You cut down drastically on what you can do to protect your home.
So it's very important to get prepared now, and obviously coming out to the expo is a good way to start with that. So why did Lowe's choose to partner with SNN to host this event?
So we look at you guys as the same as us. We want to be there for the consumer before the storm, through the preparedness phase where we're at now, helping plan for that storm coming up. We also want to be there during the storm. I know you guys are going to do your best to be out there, be on set, make sure the consumers have all the information. And the same at Lowe's. We're preparing every single day. We're preparing now in the event that there is a storm, that we're able to facilitate customers through the building quickly, have the products and resources available for the customer. And then after the fact, after the storm has come through, we certainly want to be in the community, just as you guys, to ensure that stories are being told and that we're there to partner with our community and ensuring that we're able to rebuild after the storm or in the event of a storm.
Yeah, because after the storm, preparing is super stressful. During the storm, you're kind of hunkering down and waiting, but after the storm is when the real work comes in the response. And we're actually going to have the Red Cross and the Salvation Army out there, too, to explain how their response and how they work to help with these disasters as well. So where can people go for more information about this event?
Right now, SNNTV.com.
Yep, definitely. So come out and check it out this weekend. Again, it's going to be tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Out on the Lowe's parking lot on Fruitville Road. And what was the address again?
5750 Fruitville Road.
Okay, and that's exit 210, right?
Correct.
Off of the
You got it.
interstate. All right, so come and check us out, and thanks for coming on the show, guys.
Thank you, Cassie.
We're going to have a lot of fun tomorrow. Stay tuned to Suncoast FYI. We'll be right back. That's our show for today, and thanks so much for joining us. If you would like to promote your business or event on Suncoast FYI, we would love to hear from you. Just call our sales department at 941-361-4223. I'm Cassie Dahl, and we'll see you next Friday on Suncoast FYI.